Hi, welcome back to the farm. My name's Roz, also known as Passion Flower, and you'll find me here each week talking about my farming and creative life. It has been a freezing week this week. We had temperatures of -7 degrees Celsius during the week. The car was like thick, chocked with ice, and it took me a couple of goes to be able to drive away. So that was not fun, but not too bad to deal with. You don't get that many days of that bad frost. But it still has been really dry up until last night. We got some rain. There's been some rain during the morning, and I'm recording in the afternoon, and it's just started to rain again now. So hopefully we can get a little more rain. It did also rain the day after I recorded last week. We got quite a good amount in one day, like not a huge amount. The grass and ground were pretty much dry once it had finished raining, but at least we got a lot in the tanks, and we have been pumping water back from here to the house again, in order to make sure we have enough water for our everyday stuff. And then with a little bit more rain now, hopefully those tanks here will refill again. I've just been out in the paddocks. I had a visit from Landcare, the local Landcare, looking at the progress of the trees that were planted here by the dam a year ago. And to our delight, surprise, probably about 90% of them are still growing and doing quite well. There's a few that I need to like clip the guards off because they're starting to grow through the guards. And others I need to put the guards back around properly. The problem at the moment is because there's no water in the dam, the fencing that I had done is now not keeping the kangaroos out because they can actually go around the other side, which was the water side, and they can get into that area. So the sooner we can get water back in the dam, the sooner that those plants are going to have a better chance, and then they will continue to grow. So hopefully by spring this year, we'll be in a position to be able to take all of the guards off after the cold of the winter, and we should see some good progress with them. We also had a chat about some other projects that might be able to happen here on the farm or that I could be involved with, and that is a good thing to be able to be regenerating the area and to be finding good spots for birds and animals to have habitat. So that was a really positive and fun conversation. I've been doing a stack of preparation still for Melbourne Fibre Fest, which is the new name for the market held by the Victorian Hand Knitters and Crocheters Guild, which is previously just known as Coburg at the Coburg Town Hall. So Melbourne Fibre Fest is coming up. It is the weekend of June 14 and 15. So I've been dyeing some more yarn for that. So this past week I've focused on some mohair on my wispy base. I have done some wildflowers, some blush and lilac. I'm not sure how much more wispy lace I will get done. I've still got quite a bit in stock already. So depending on how much time I have, I'll try and do a little bit more. I'd like to try a few different variegated colorways because I think a variegated mohair with a solid color will look really cool. So I'm going to try and do a few more of those if I can. I'd already done a few more batches of DK and I think I'm okay there. And I've been working on this collection of yarn for launch at Coburg, which I'm quite excited about. So I've shown you some of the colors here previously that I've been working on. And what it is part of a collection that I'm calling Songs from the Dye Studio. And so I was dyeing yarn and I play sort of the same kind of song list over and over again, or I start with a song of a band that I really like, and then Spotify finds all of the songs that are related to that or that you've liked and played before, and you end up just hearing songs that you know and love, right? So I was listening to some music while I was dyeing, and all of these songs from bands that I love and listen to all the time, I realized had lyrics about dreams in them. and not like overtly about dreams, but for some reason that's just what I picked up on, that they all sort of had this dream sort of vibe theme going through them. So what I've done is created colorways based on lyrics out of a number of different songs from different artists that represent the music that I listen to. I will end up putting a Spotify list together of these songs, and I have got a colorway for each of those. So the one that I shared on Instagram this past week, I'm calling Dream to Riot. And that is from a song from Blur called On Your Own. And I've just had that song playing nonstop in my head over and over. And so this is what came out in the yarn. And one of the contrast colors that I have dyed up. So the contrast colors are all sort of named on like states of dreams, or the way you feel in a dream. And this one that is a light purple, dusty purple kind of color, I'm calling Ethereal. And it is one that I have decided to pair with I Dream to Riot to make myself a shawl, which I'll show you in a minute. But so this is the first combo that I've put together, and I will be sharing the rest of the dream state colors and the rest of the lyrics or the songs in the coming weeks. And I'm really excited about it. It's something that's a little bit different for me, a different dye style, some different colors, and also a different inspiration point. And I just thought it'd be fun to release them all at the Melbourne Fibre Fest. First to what I'm wearing this week, it's a finished object. It is my Happy Street by Vera Velimaki. It is made, I have not blocked it yet. I've woven in all of these ends, but I haven't cut them, but I thought I could cheat and wear it today. So here is a good representation of all of the colors. So the dark pink at the bottom is Dreaming Color February 2014 Club colorway. And then the other three stripes are colors of Madeline Tosh yarn that I used in my first Happy Street that I made. I think this is all of the dark pink that I had left after finishing the edge and the bind off. So I'm really happy with the amount that I used of all of these colors. I basically used all the rest up. There's a tiny little bit of the dark purple. And as I said, this scarf is a really easy one to wear. It loops around really well, and I love the combination of the colors. So yeah, happy to have finished that one. So when I finished, I was inspired by my new colorway to cast on a shawl. I've been looking for a pattern that I could use to sort of put kits together to show an example of what you could do with a full 100-gram skein and a 50-gram skein of a yarn. So with a solid and a variegated color. And I really couldn't find anything. So what I'm doing is creating kind of a recipe myself, and I'm just playing at the moment, knitting on something without really doing much thinking. And I figure it'll be easy enough to write up roughly what I've done if someone wanted to do a similar thing for themselves. So I am using 50 grams of the Ethereal and 100 grams of the I Dream to Riot. And I am just using a basic shawl shape, like no big new technique or anything with that. I'm just doing 2 increases on one side and then 1 decrease on the other side, and then just knitting back on the wrong side. So it will be an ever increasing this way, sort of. This is the start here. And as you can see, I'm striping in the Ethereal just at random points. So I started with 3 stripes here of the same width, and then I've done here 2 and then a single, and then another double there. So I'm just going to continue to play around with creating a big piece of fabric like this. And then I think what I'll do is bind off or do a thicker section of just the ethereal on the other end, maybe in a lace or pattern or something. I'll have to get out some of my design books and have a look and decide what might look good and work out how much to have left of this at the end to be able to get that look. So the point of this will be to use your entire variegated ball and your entire 50-gram ball in a shawl that really embraces the variegatedness. Is that a word? Variegatedness and the solid color. And some of the other solids that I have are quite contrasty, like much more contrasty than that. But I think as this grows, that ethereal color is really going to stand out as sections as I go through. And I'm going to change probably the texture at some point. Add in a few little things. I've got an idea in my head that I've had for a shawl pattern for a while, and I want to see if I can incorporate that into this as well. So I'm having some fun with just sort of freestyling this at the moment. And every time I knit it, I still get that song in my head. So that's also fun. My only other active project is the male Clad vest test knit that I'm doing. And I didn't do as much this week as I have done in previous weeks, partly because we were waiting for some confirmation on some of the instructions, and partly because I was at a point where I was going to have to pick up stitches, which I don't mind doing, but I need to be in the right headspace to do it. So I finished, I think I was not quite finished the back last week. So I finished the back, and then I picked up and did the fronts and shaped the neck. And I've now picked up on the first sleeve hole, and I've done the right number of rows, and I need to now bind this one off and go ahead and pick up the second sleeve hole. So not far away from having a finished garment here, but I'm sort of at the more fiddly part now rather than just the straight knitting. So, but how amazing does that look? I've tried it on. It's possibly a little tight, but that's pre-blocking. And as I said, I am knitting the smallest size, even though I should potentially be in the second size, but because it's a test, that was the size that I was chosen for, which is totally fine. As I said, it does fit me. It's just probably tighter than I would choose to wear it. But I mean, over something like this, it's probably completely fine. I think I tried it on over a t-shirt, which is probably not the right thing to try it on over the top of anyway. So, yeah, I've got a little catch in there where the cats have clearly been on me. So yeah, it will be a lovely sort of warmer piece. You can imagine me wearing that with this top. How good is that? So yeah, not far away from having this finished either. And I gave you no details at all about pattern or yarn or anything then, did I? It is the male Clad vest by Tess Vandekolk from Fluff and Nonsense, and the yarn I'm using is also Fluff and Nonsense yarn. It's a sport weight in the SRS Merino, and this colorway is called Orange Spice. I'm knitting mine on a size 4mm needle. That's what I needed to get gauge. I think the pattern called for a 3.75, but I found that I wasn't getting gauge on that, so I had to go up. So I think that's everything I need to say about it. Just have another look at the beautiful texture. Well, that's it for another week. Thanks for spending some time with me. If you're enjoying these videos, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I look forward to seeing you next week on the farm. Bye.